We take matter number 2, which is rules number 1 of 26, and rule number 1 of 2026 in terms of Central Bank Act of Sri Lanka to facilitate exporters to invest in domestic dollar bonds. Who is presenting that? Director?
Yeah, Mandil.
Yeah.
ගරු සභාපතිතුමනි අපි විදේශ විනිමය පනතයක්තේ සහ මේ සහහිටත් සෙන්ටර් බෑන්ක් ඇක්ට් එක යටතේ ඉෂු කරලා තියෙන රෙගියුලේෂන් සහ රීති යටතේ
Yes. Right, you go ahead. Start.
Okay. යටතේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා ඩිවලොප්මන්ට් බොන්ඩ්ස් කියලා තමයි කලින් පාවිච්චි කරලා තිබුණේ යූස් කරලා තිබුණේ ඒ වෙනුවට මොකද ශ්‍රී ලංකා ඩිවලොප්මන්ට් බොන්ඩ් මේ සැරේ ගවර්න්මන්ට් එක ඉෂු කළේ ඩොමෙස්ටික් ඩිවලොප්මන්ට් බොන්ඩ් කියලා ඒක නිසා අපි whatever now it might come in the future අපි ඒකට broadly match වෙන විදිහට replace කරනවා debt securities denominated in foreign currency කියලා. Wherever it refers to SLDB, Sri Lanka Development, that will be replaced by the phrase of debt securities denominated in foreign currency, wherever applicable. When it comes to, yeah, it might have any name in future, but we have broadly put it as debt securities denominated in foreign currency. If we have referred that in a rule, it will be the SLDB term will be replaced by debt security denominated in foreign currency. And if it has been referred to in a direction issued under foreign exchange, it will be changed as debt securities denominated in foreign currency. That's all what will happen. Issued by the government.
But the exporters can go up to 10% of their proceeds, right? That's the maximum limit.
Yes, sir.
Sri Lanka export thing is no more. It's the nomenclature that is changed. SLDB name is changed to domestic debt.
දැන් මෙහෙමනේ දැන් debt restructure එක කරනකොට SLDB holders ලාට මේ දීපු offer එක වෙනස්නේ අනිත් foreign denominated debt holders ලාට දීපු offer එකට වඩා දුන්නානේ මොකද්ද දුන්නේ කොහොමද ඒක වෙනස් වුනේ දැන් උදාහරණයක් හැටියට ඕනේ දැන් SLDBs තිබුණා ඊළඟට අපේ තිබිච්ච ISB domestic holders ලා කාව තිබුණා අපේ exporters ලා බැංකු පුද්ගලයෝ අරගෙන තිබුණා එතකොට මේ රීස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරනකොට ඩොලර්ස් වලින් ඩිනොමිනේට් කරලා ඒව foreigners ලා හෝල්ඩ් කරගෙන ඉන්නකොට ඒ දීපු ඔෆර් එකයි ඩොලර්ස් වලින් නිකුත් කරලා ශ්‍රී ලංකන්ස් ලා හෝල්ඩ් කරගෙන ඉන්නකොට ඒ කට්ටියට දීපු ඔෆර් එකයි අතර තිබිච්ච වෙනස මොකක්ද කියලා තමයි අහන්නේ
මේ අවස්ථාවේ නම් අපේ සම්බන්ධ තොරතුරු අරගෙන නැහැ. නමුත් මට
නෑ මම අහන්නේ දැන් නෙමෙයි. දැන් අපි රීස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරානේ.
ඒක තමයි.
අර රීස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරනකොට ඩොලර්ස් වලින් නිකුත් කරපු ඩෙට් තිබුණානේ අපේ ISB තිබුණා ඊළඟට SLDB තිබුණා. තමනක් තිබුණේ ඩොලර්ස් වලින් නිකුත් කරපුවා.
ISB ඒ දෙක තමයි තිබුණේ.
FCBU loan තිබුණා.
FCBU loan තිබුණා.
තව මොනවද තිබුණේ?
අනිත් foreign loans.
හරි. එතකොට ඩොලර්ස් වලින් නිකුත් කරලා ලෝකස්ලා හෝල්ඩ් කරපුවා තිබුණා. එතකොට මේක රීස්ට්‍රක්චර් කරනකොට ලෝකස්ලාට එක ඔෆර් එකකුත් ෆොරිනර්ස්ලාට තව ඔෆර් එකකුත් නෙවෙයිද දුන්නේ?
ඔය SLDB වල දිස ඉෂුව කළේ treasury bond ඉෂුව කළේ central bank policy rate එක බේස් කරලා තමා රුපී වලින් ඉෂුව කරා. treasury bond එකක් රුපී. ISB holders ලාට ISB restructuring යටතේ නැවතත් ISB ඉෂුව කළා face value එක අඩු කර.
එතකොට ඒක ලංකාවේ හිටපු කට්ටියටත් ඒකම එකම ස්කීම් එකක් දුන්නේ.
ඔය එතන බොන්ඩ් වර්ග කීපයක් තිබුණා. ලංකාවේ හිටපු කට්ටියටත් දුන්නා එක වර්ගයක් ඒගොල්ලන්ට ඒකට කැමති නම් ඔප්ට් කරන්න පුළුවන්. ISB වලදී.
ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් SLDB හෝල්ඩ් කරපු ඩොමෙස්ටික් රෙසිඩන්ස්ලට හරි ඩොමෙස්ටික් බැංක්ස් ඩොමෙස්ටික් එක්ස්පෝර්ටර්ස්ලට හෙයා කට් එකක් තිබුණේ නැහැ.
තිබුණේ නැහැ සර්.
ඒ කට්ටියට කිව්වේ අපි ඕගොල්ලන්ට රුපියල් වලින් ගෙවන්න.
රුපියල් වලින් ගන්නවා.
ඒගොල්ලන්ට අනිත් ඔෆර් එකක් තිබුණා. ඩොලර් වලින් ගෙවලා හෙයා කට් එකක් ගන්න.
SLDB වල එහෙම තිබුණේ නැහැ සර්.
SLDB තිබුණේ නැහැ. ඩොමෙස්ටික් විතරමයි තිබුණේ.
තිබුණේ ඩොමෙස්ටික් විතරයි. ISB වල ISB වර්ගම තමයි අපි ඉෂුව කරන්නේ.
ISB ලට ඇමතුමිය අහන්නේ මන්ත්‍රීතුමිය අහන්නේ ISB වලට තිබුණාද රුපියල් වලින් ගෙවන ඔප්ෂන් එක?
රුපී ඔප්ෂන් එකක් තිබුණේ නැහැ ISB වල.
SLDB වලට විතරයි.
තිබුණේ.
දැන් SLDB ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් මෙතන දැන් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් උදාහරණයක් හැටියට ට්‍රෙෂරි බිල්ස් හෝල්ඩ් කරනකොට ෆොරිනර්ස්ලා එතකොට ලිමිට් එක දාන්නේ ඒ ට්‍රෙෂරි බිල් වලින් 100ට යම් ප්‍රමාණයක්. දැන් කීයද තියෙන්නේ? 7මාරද?
5% තියෙනවා.
5%. 15ට වගේ උඩට ගියා. දැන් 5%ට ගෙනා. දැන් මෙතන ලිමිට් එක දාලා තියෙන්නේ ඉෂුව කරන සහ අවුට්ස්ටෑන්ඩින් SLDB වලින් යම් ප්‍රමාණයක් ඩොමෙස්ටික් හෝල්ඩර්ස්ලා හැටියට නෙමෙයි. මෙතන දාලා තියෙන්නේ එක්ස්පෝර්ටර්ගේ එක්ස්පෝර්ට් ප්‍රොසීඩ්ස් වලින් 110ක ලිමිට් එකක්. ඇයි ඒ වෙනස?
මේකේ බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ
Maybe I can answer to your question why this 10%. Because in terms of this requirement, the exporters have to repatriate all the export proceeds into the country. So once they repatriate, there's a requirement of conversion these foreign exchange into rupees. So before converting, they have been given a period to utilize their foreign exchange for a period of 90 days, within which they can use this particular, they are all foreign currency repatriated to various purposes. That's about utilization. Utilization include import of goods, repayment of foreign currency loan, and payment of some other salaries also wherever applicable, and also payment to local suppliers. Also investment in Sri Lankan development bond up to the 10% of what they have remitted to the country. So that all these, we call it authorized purposes. So to make sure that a certain quantum of money will be converted into foreign exchange, and that we initially it was decided to restrict this particular investment only up to the 10%. That remained for last few years, not without a change.
I think that's a very good move. You're going to forcefully make it. What's the tenure of this domestic dollar bond?
Can vary.
Yeah.
You all issued one, no? PDMO issued the first one in December. What was the tenor? Only 1 year you all got?
1 year and 2 years.
No, how much did you get? And 3 years you got nothing.
It's not basically nothing, yeah.
No, not basically, you got zero.
So 1 year 33 million and 2 year 17 million.
That's all, no?
Yeah.
You were going to upsize it to 250 million, but you collected 50 million.
That's right.
And what was the rate at which you borrowed?
1 year 5.7, 2 year 6.1.
That is, what are you benchmarking it against?
Basically against the US treasuries at that time, sir.
What was it? What was the premium like?
It was like around 2 to 3% premium.
On the 1 year or the?
1 year.
So what you need, instead of getting the exporters to speculate overseas, you're getting them bringing here and say, you can still hold it in dollars. If the dollar is depreciating, is the option you're given.
Yes.
So that's a good thing. But once again, now, if you finish the bond is for a year, at the end of the year, can that same bondholder go to another bond, or he has got to liquidate it into rupee? What's the exit clause?
If you issue...
Now, if you now an exporter, he brings it, takes 10%, puts it into domestic dollar bonds. If the tenure is 1 year, at the end of the 1 year, has he got to bring it to rupees, or can he invest that back again in domestic dollar bond?
So at the maturity, we are paying in dollars.
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 Yes.
So,
Now,
but
can
if
he use
yeah,
that again and buy another?
yes, sir. Yeah. Available. Yes.
Cumulative, 10% is annual.
He has
Ten-
option. He has a put option where he can.
Yeah,
go
10%
into-
is
10%
Sorry,
is
Mr.
annual, right?
Annual, yeah.
Yeah, because if it, we're asking whether it's cumulative, then you can't do it, no?
It comes to end.
Yeah.
Assuming at the end of that bond, can that exporter use that and go and buy another domestic dollar bond?
yes.
As
Then
long as,
then you're
Yeah.
keeping the exporter to keep dollars
Yes.
in the country, which is good.
as long as you are within 10%.
Yeah.
No,
That's-
which 10%? That's the problem.
10% of that year's
That,
proceeds.
no. That's the thing.
This proceed that comes to end, is that allowed
So
to be-
this 10% is not cumulative. That's what I'm asking also.
Yeah.
So it,
after the first bond expires.
No, that's what I'm saying. Because it's a good move to keep dollars. I mean, that's a good healthy move. I'm asking now that exporter, he has speculated, kept in dollars.
and next year also he does
Yeah,
it.
if you get
But
allow
it's not
him to export,
repatriated now.
if
No,
the
sir.
company can afford it, go ahead.
No, so actually, this is actually mean that 10% of their proceeds
Yeah,
can be kept in dollar-denominated instruments.
Yes.
instrument.
Right? After the first year, can they still invest it?
Yes.
So the 10% means annual, right?
No. Any
No,
time,
proceed.
say for example, say the company A repatriate $100,000 US.
No, just 1 minute, let me add to that. Let us assume different tenors, right?
Okay,
So let's say you have a 2-year bond.
right.
Okay.
No. Here the point is, whenever they repatriate extra proceeds in the country, out of that 10% can be invested in a instrument like this. So each time they repatriate it into the country, 10% maximum up to 10% they can use for these purposes.
So forever.
Yes,
So that means it is cumulative now.
can be.
So
Yes.
I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay, so
If
Anyway-
I may ask the example this way, assuming Parliament Private Limited export company, they have 1 million exports.
1 million.
1 million, right? Now, when he brings it to Sri Lanka, this Parliament Private Limited can invest in $100,000.
$100,000.
Now he goes to your domestic dollar bond for 1 year tenure,
Yeah.
right? After end of 1 year, that is supposed to be converted to, you all will give the dollars and walk out. Now, can that Parliament Private Limited use that $100,000 and go and buy again domestic dollar bonds?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because,
Repatriate.
yeah. Because they
Please get that clarified and give it, because it makes it's a very good for the country, but I don't think it's.
So
legal.
what the member is asking, so that particular company will have a dollar denominated deposit of 100,000. Next year you do 1 billion also. So you can again continue the previous 1 billion, 100,000. This year also you are allowed to put 100,000.
Yeah.
So basically you can continue 200,000.
Yes, sir.
dollars.
In short, or say over the say if provided that the policy is continued, so that means if say by 3 years if the particular company repatriated 300,000, that means effectively that company can
3 billion.
Not repatriated either.
no. I'm trying to say
Brought in.
no, say for 3 years, for about 1 year, 3-year window. If the particular company repatriated 300,000, for the 3 million.
No, not repatriated. No,
Proceeds.
these export
No.
proceeds inbound.
No, sir. This 10% applies to the amount they repatriated into Sri Lanka.
or proceeds.
Received to
Proceed. Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. Repatriate means proceeds. Yes.
Received to Sri Lanka.
So then it becomes export proceeds in Sri Lanka.
Yes.
Now that goes into a dollar bond, domestic
And
dollar
they
bond.
can have a cumulative
Now that
reserve
Parliament Limited can only get $100,000 at the end of that bond tenure.
that year.
Now when that is there, it is 100,000 in his hand. Has he got to liquidate it into rupees? That is the normal accounting practice.
Rupee. There's no such requirement, sir.
No, you better check and come back to us.
No.
It's good. It's a very good move, but get it checked out.
Yeah.
No, because now
Anuja, you are the tax expert. Now you have $100,000, right? In your balance sheet, how do you report it? Assuming there is no dollar bond waiting for the next dollar bond is 1 month later after the expiry. You can't hold that in dollars.
You have to convert it back.
Yeah, you have to convert it. If it's in rupees, then you can't go back to dollars.
No, I mean, I think the issue here is if there is a gap, can you keep it in FX in your
Account.
foreign currency account?
Yeah.
Can you?
BFC, yes.
Because the proceed, there is no forced conversion anymore.
No, because
No forced conversion.
No
forced
first
conversion
conversion.
applicable to export proceed repatriation. This amount is not export
No,
proceeds.
the question is earlier during the crisis,
Yep.
we had a forced conversion, no?
Yes.
Right, except for what you needed to pay debt and various things,
Yep.
raw material.
Yep.
You had to convert a certain amount.
Yes.
And then you had another law of what is converted, you have to buy central bank, give it to central bank, some other.
Yeah.
That went off first. Then my question is, I think, did that second one, that means the proceeds to be forced converted into LKR,
Yeah.
is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there, but before that effect, they can use these purposes. One of
So-
that purposes is the investment in.
Honorable Chairman, that's what I explained. This one of the authorized purposes for which the export proceed can be used is the investment in
Got it,
government.
understood. Understood. Understood.
Sent
They
up.
can.
I have one question. So on the 10% thing, now I understand why 10% that you mentioned, but the sizes of each of these entities are way different, right? So 90% of our exports are done by 10% of the companies, right? That is like I would say $10 billion worth of export proceeds. So you really want to succeed on a bond issue. You want people to buy it, right? So if you restrict these top 10 exporters, the rest of the exporters will not even have money to subscribe your bond.
Then it's proportionate.
Huh?
If it's option, it's proportionate.
No.
No, my question is, you have a certain amount of dollars
And you
coming
get a
into
larger chunk
Okay,
of it.
no, I'll make it very simpler, right? So you are issuing a local dollar denominated bond. You want to subscribe to it, right? So who's going to subscribe is the exporters. The amount of money Sri Lanka generally brings down is say 10 billion. And this 10 billion, 90% of this is brought in by 10 people, right? So when you restrict to a particular company's 10%, right, you can maximum go up to a 1 billion at a point. But assuming that everybody invests, you get my point?
The issue quantity gets exhausted before everyone
Yes.
gets
So
a
what happens is, say that
competitive
top
pricing.
10, none of them buys. So you will not have anything,
Sir,
right? And if there is more, one of them wants to buy more, and you don't have the option now because your 10% is limited. So I'm just trying to say your quantum of supply is limited, and it's also limited by number of entities. So when you put a 10% entity cap,
No, the thing is now, I think we already explained that whatever the amount they repatriated, the exporters repatriated in Sri Lanka, so they have authorized payments now. One of this is this 10% allocation. So, okay, but if they repatriated whatever the amount, only 10% they can maximum go for these kind of investments.
what I'm saying is we are putting already a limitation.
That's 10%.
Potential of a bond success.
Yeah, that is different thing, but
Sir,
Trying to safeguard our currency. That is why we brought in the rule. You explained it very well. No, what I'm trying to say is there's a conflict. One is that we want to succeed, the debt management office wants to succeed a bond issue, right? That is why we are opening it up for the exporters, no?
Yeah.
At the same time, we are saying you can only invest 10%, right? So, what I'm trying to say is you will have a crunch where you want to get dollar bonds, but the one who's really interested in investing can't invest.
Yes.
Am I right?
no.
Go into the big boys club.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you say you bring in $1 million, and like the Honorable Minister says, 900,000 is brought by, 10 of them, right? So they can only invest 90,000.
Yeah, but sir, here the rationale is to incentivize to them to bring down the amount funds, no?
Yeah.
So out of that, only 10% they can invest here.
And,
And more they repatriated, more they can invest.
No, it's like,
No. I think the No, no, one more thing is that
Put a pro rata where the smaller guy gets a.
this should not be an incentive because it's a rule to bring down your money. This shouldn't be it. I mean, we are incentivizing people to bring down money.
No, in fact,
rules are not great, no? Incentives are
no,
better.
no,
In
if
120 days, any case you have to bring it. So there is no question. You're only utilizing it more carefully.
Now-
But his question
now-
is, you'll only get the 10 big boys. A medium guy who is dealing in 100,000 that comes, he won't get a share.
And honorable member, at the time of implementation of this rule, there had been no such limit pertaining to this particular exporters. So it all depend on your utilization. Like sometimes some companies might utilize 90% of their whatever they export proceeds for import, and even they may be not sort of funds for payment of upcoming loans. So it doesn't say that, even if you repatriate the entire sum, you can always invest 10% of it. It all depends on how you utilize it. Okay, so therefore, I think this 10% was given as a kind of because earlier they were entitled to invest everything, because we thought that it's better that, companies to give a kind of opportunity to invest in foreign currency, and that was the idea behind, honorable member.
Now, last time when you came here, we asked a question about the dollar inflows. You didn't give us the answer to this.
So I'm going to come to that, honorable member. I am going to come to that. But before that, so is it also like trying to cut the middleman? For instance, the bank, right? I mean, earlier, exporters could only invest 10% in Sri Lanka development bonds. Now you say you can invest in any, whether it is foreign currency loans, whichever one that the treasury is raising.
No. What I say that in times to come, these debt security denominated foreign currency can come in any different name.
Yes.
So issued by the government.
Correct, right? Now, aren't there other things that is issued by the government that are not Sri Lanka development bonds, denominated in dollars?
No, currently only the domestic development.
Yes.
Yeah.
But there are many other dollar-denominated debt securities issued by the government of Sri Lanka.
No, not right now. No. Only the domestic one is
No,
domestic
only
development.
domestically.
Yeah.
Domestically. Now the question is, for instance, can a Sri Lankan exporter invest in international sovereign bonds issued by the government of Sri Lanka in dollars?
Yeah.
Currently, can you?
In terms of the present rule, it is not permitted.
It's not permitted. Now with this, are you permitting that?
Sorry, sir?
Are you permitting that with the new rule?
No. This is debt securities denominated foreign currency issued by the government of Sri Lanka. So it means domestic bonds.
Where does it say domestic issuance?
Yeah.
Where does it say domestic issuance?
Elsewhere, that will go to the foreign holder, it doesn't come to the country. Money will go out of the country.
So money that comes into the country, you can't invest in ISS.
Shall I read it, Assistant Governor? Your gazette says 4(5) subsection, payments in respect of making investments in debt securities denominated in foreign currency issued by the government of Sri Lanka. Now, I cannot see the word domestically issued.
Yeah.
Yeah, but ISBs are also issued by the government of Sri Lanka.
Those are like euro bonds, like it's in a different market.
No, there is no different market. So many Sri Lankans bought the ISBs, no. I mean, how many Sri Lankans bought ISBs? Because we don't have a registry of the persons who bought. As a matter of fact, we wanted to know who owned the $500 million that was paid off in January of 2022.
In a hurry.
In a hurry, but we never got it, right? We never got it, right? But we know that there are Sri Lankan people who own those bonds issued by the government of Sri Lanka,
But maybe
denominated
not
in.
using the dollars here.
How do you know? I mean, what I'm asking you, Assistant Governor, is as I don't see here specification that it is for domestic purposes. Or,
Denominated.
domestic. I mean, what is the difference between an international sovereign bond and a Sri Lanka development bond?
Sorry.
Please tell me the difference. Now, earlier, the international sovereign bond was issued. Okay, go ahead, please. Now there's only public debt management
the
office.
framework behind that is it's the US law, the New York law, and even it will be tried in Singaporean courts. But here the local bonds are issued under foreign.
No,
laws
but where does it
and-
say
This
under
says
Sri
that
Lankan law?
securities denominated in foreign currency issued by the government of Sri Lanka. Wouldn't ISB fall into this category?
No, not under this.
So they have to show it to us. That is the way
What
that-
about making English version again? Make English version again?
No, it's four.
Point again, domestic kata make
Number 2, 4 is clearly saying government securities.
Okay, let me rephrase the question, or not a rephrase, I've asked you a fresh question, so that this becomes even more complicated to answer. Suppose a local bank owns a MLB, okay, after the restructure. Now, can an exporter purchase that from the export proceeds? Yes or no? Yeah, or using their foreign currency business account.
Item. That's
No, but then it
according-
is well, why not? Because it is if it is held by a domestic bank, right, it's issued by the government of Sri Lanka in United States dollars, held by a domestic bank. No, it doesn't say no. I'm asking you, where does it say
is saying
domestic?
a local bank issuing a government security.
I'm saying an MLB. MLB is held by commercial bank after the restructure, let's say.
Honorable Chair is referring to the secondary market here, no?
Yeah, but it doesn't say primary market.
No, I know.
It doesn't say. It doesn't say at which point you cannot buy. I mean, if you say in the primary market, then it is clear.
No, sir.
But if it is not, if it doesn't say primary market, secondary market is also. And also bonds are traded. No, who buys bonds? Okay, certain people buy bonds at the auction, but there are many other people buy bonds outside the
Maybe
auction
your
in the
intention
secondary
was a
market.
fresh issue.
No, no.
When you will limit it now to have secondary market, everybody say 1 year thing. And then
No, nobody said 1 year. The tenor is not
Idea
defined.
was primary.
It can be up to 10 years.
Primary market is to get the fresh money into the.
That's what I'm saying. So your whole idea of this bill is to get your new.
But it
Dollar
doesn't
bond.
specify that, no, Honorable Minister.
That's
It doesn't, yeah, I mean, you can buy a bond at any point, whether it is domestically issued under government sovereign of Sri Lanka law, or under New York law. Right? So ISBs are issued under New York law, the local SLDBs are
Under
under
exceptions,
are Sri Lankan law. But first of all, that is not defined. Second of all, it doesn't say whether you can purchase it at the primary auction or the secondary market. We are just raising.
this will be routed
So only
through
thing
the
is,
primary dealers.
only, how was it routed earlier? SLDBs were routed through the designated banks and the dealers.
Now, to make a case first, now in January
Now-
25, we had 1,210 merchandise exports. Right, of that 74% was US, 16% was Europe, 4% were INR. Now, if it comes in INR or in Euro, can it go for a US dollar bond?
Will there be equivalent?
Export proceeds. Has it got a convertibility factor?
Equivalent, Prasanna, does the equivalent amount apply there then?
And-
No,
and-
Then
The
you're
proceeds
going
are
from-
not US dollar. if
You're
you
having
go to
cross currency.
Yeah, because it's foreign exchange coming in, then is the dollar equivalent 10%? that you-
technically possible.
Can you just
My
ask that
is,
question again?
I'm taking a realistic situation. 2026 January, Sri Lanka's merchandise exports were 1,210 from
2026 March,
January,
January.
right? Of that, 74% was US dollar.
Proceeds.
Yeah, 16% was Euro. And 4% were INR, not proceeds, export by export. So if you have 16% and 4% exporters, can they come and buy dollar bonds?
You mean that whether the currency can be
Cross-currency,
exchanged?
yeah.
Cross currency. Yeah.
That should
I
not be a
don't think that will be a problem
But
because
then you're
because
stopping from
yeah,
Indian
but
rupees.
they'll have to sell the euro and buy dollars. It's in other way.
Yeah.
Exchanging is
But
a
it's
kind
all
of
within the banking circle.
yeah
I
banking
mean,
system. Yes.
Yeah,
It's
but
kind
then,
of a,
but then that doesn't address the question that we are raising
no,
now.
no, it basically then you have a swap of currencies. You're
Yeah,
making
that's a further complication.
yeah. So now when you're
Well,
opening
let's
this,
sort this thing.
Yeah, let's solve the first one out.